Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 2 of the Mature Student Life Guide, where today I'm going to be going over my first week, Monday through to Friday, kind of a day-by-day breakdown of how I felt, what I did, and hopefully you guys will find it insightful. But starting off, let's begin with Monday. So Monday was a bit of a mixed bag. It was exciting to begin with. Before I got to uni, I was pretty buzzing. I was, thinking, here we go. I'm doing it. First proper day. First proper lecture. And then we'd done the lecture, and it was 3 hours sat in front of a computer learning how to use Excel, all about data handling, which isn't it. It's skills you're going to need, skills that are going to be useful in the long run. But for the first sort of thing to wet your beak, it's a bit full on. It was 20 odd examples of different types of data, different types of gathering data. Because I'm doing geography, it's field work, you've got like random selecting sample grids and all of this stuff. It was a bit dry, to put it nicely. 80 pages of PowerPoint presentations, and like I say, 3 hours. You got a break in the middle for 15 minutes, go and get a coffee. But other than that, it was quite laborious, I guess, to the point where after like the first hour and a half, 2 hours, I kind of just give up with note making, glazed over, and thought, I never regretted deciding to do uni. I kind of was a bit like thinking I'm out of my depth, which I'll get onto later, but it's the sort of thing you realise as an older student, or for someone who's not been in education or taken education seriously for like a decade, you do have to learn how to learn again, which sounds stupid, but it's true. The ones who have just come straight from A-levels or had jobs really computer based, they had it like that, whereas that was a terrible click. That's better. Whereas I hadn't. I've not really used Excel since like GCSE maths, which was barely, it didn't even scrape the surface. It was nothing. So it was very much of a learning curve. Something I'm still a week later trying to practice and get to grips with now. Hence why I'm recording this one quite early in the morning, so I've got the rest of the day to kind of catch up, because I've got data handling lecture again today now, which I'm actually a bit anxious for. I don't want that feeling again, of feeling so like out of my depth, kind of. Because I was trying to load up files and input this data onto Excel, and not everyone, but most of the people around me kind of had it already, and I was behind, which was something that I hadn't really prepared myself for the fact that I would at some point be behind. I kind of just thought that I've got a few years, usually like 6 years on the ones who are just coming up through, 6 years of work experience. I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be shit hot with some of this stuff, and I'm really not. I'm feeling, well, Monday anyway, I was feeling out of touch with education, which I didn't think I would feel at any point. But that was that. It was a time and practice, I think, is what's needed with this particular data handling module, which you might find with your course, depends what you decide to do, but just be prepared for the fact that you are going to be out of touch with some of the software, some of the expressions, some of the things they ask you to do. It isn't going to come as easy and as quick as some of the stuff you would have done in your regular 9-to-5 job. So just be prepared for that, basically, because that's how I felt, out of touch, out of depth, basically. So moving on from Monday, obviously it's Tuesday, which was kind of not a non-event, but it was a very much soft opening to what had happened Monday. So Monday was long, intense, really mentally draining. Tuesday was kind of like a step back to induction week almost. The module is split between all of geography, international relations, and ecology and environmental sciences, which they kind of focused. It was a 2-hour lecture, so the first hour was explaining the module, when the exam was going to be, what percentages of the breakdown of the grades you're going to get from this module. Had a little break. The second hour was just kind of like a meet and greet with the other students on the other courses, IR and EES students. So literally outside in the field of the campus, not shaking hands because of COVID, excellent, but just kind of 2 meters apart going, hello, I'm Taylor, I'm doing this, that and the other, you are da 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 da. So it was a lot more easier to kind of get your head around, but it didn't give you too much of an insight in what you'd actually be doing, which was okay, but I'd prepared myself more because of Monday to be like chucked in at the deep end again, and it wasn't, so the change of pace was a little bit jarring. I felt more adept with it though, because I'm, like I said in the last episode, I'm not outgoing, but I'm not introverted. I just will talk to people if I have to, and it just doesn't bother me. That was basically it for Tuesday. Not a great deal to say other than the change of pace was crazy, and it was the same lecturer. So it went from being a lot of info, bang, 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 straight at you, to basically no info, but you have to do other stuff. It was a weird one, basically. But the change of pace kind of put me off a bit. Thursday's been my favourite day of uni so far. It was Earth Systems and Processes, which is all like the tectonic plates, volcanoes, the cycles of the rain, and all of that erosion, kind of sea and stuff, all that sort of earthy, proper geography stuff. And I would only describe it as Brian Cox level stuff. The PowerPoint looks crazy with lines and graphs, really long words, which I'm not going to attempt to repeat to you now, but it was great, and that was the first time I felt properly excited to begin uni, to begin studying, to begin researching, to begin reading. I'm not a great reader. I mean, I can read, but I'm not I don't sort of read books for fun as a pastime. I just kind of, I've never really done it. So for me to be excited to read something, it's a bit of a big deal, and I really am. I'm really looking forward to getting more detail and diving right into that particular topic. Thankfully it's a year-long topic, so it's not one of these semester by semester modules that are only worth 15 credits. This one's worth 30 credits and it will last me for the whole year, which I'm really pleased with. 50% is essay, 50% is exam, which I don't like the thought of it being an exam, but hopefully the essay side of it can be really good, really exciting to look into. But yeah, Thursday was, ignoring everything from Monday and Tuesday, Thursday was the one that I kind of expected uni to be more like, where you're buzzing, you're excited to learn something, and dive into greater detail with whatever subject it might be. For me it's this particular side of geography. For you it might be, I don't know, the literature of Shakespeare or something, I don't know. But that side of it I'm really looking forward to getting more into. So Friday, following on from a really positive Thursday, I was both sort of looking forward to it and not looking forward to it. Friday for me was the module's called Living in a Globalised World, which is more human geography as opposed to the physical stuff, which I'm more intrigued about. So it's globalisation, so the movement of people, kind of economics, like the expansion of cities, bits and bobs like that. It's a really broad subject. But I wasn't as excited for that as I was the more physical, sciencey kind of thing. But I kind of went into it open-minded, and I'm glad I did, because it surprised me. It is actually going to be really interesting to research it, which kind of my takeaway from this whole week is, again, like I said last week, the more of uni I'm experiencing, the more I'm realising you do have to be quite open-minded and open to suggestion, because there's a lot of crossover with skills you may or may not have developed through work and stuff. So for me, where I worked before, you had to talk to people, and you worked in a really small group of colleagues, which, you know, if you haven't had that, you've only ever worked from home or something like that, it is something you need to develop. You need to be socially aware, which, you know, it can be tricky for people, but don't let it put you off. But basically it's, you have to go into everything open-minded. Like this, I kind of was not interested so much in the human geography and globalisation and all of that, and again, it's another one I'm looking forward to getting stuck into. But I'm still aware that there's phrases, there's terms, there's bits and bobs that I don't know, and I don't know how I'm going to know it. It's going to take a lot of work for me, which I'm itching my hand. I guess I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous about the workload, because semester one's meant to be the easiest for a fast track student like me, so I'm not doing a 3-year, I'm doing a 2-year degree, still a full degree, but basically my semester 2, so after Christmas, is kind of over half a year's worth of studying. So instead of having 3 or 4 modules, I'm going to have 5 or 6. So from this first semester, it's going to be the slowest paced one for me, and I'm already thinking about the workload of this semester being more than I was anticipating, because I guess the stigma for students, certainly for me, was that they don't do a lot. They just spend their time sitting around, smoking, drinking, doing whatever. And I guess it isn't. I really guess it isn't. For the ones who achieve a first or like a 2-1, or any grade even, but the ones who put the work in are the ones that get the firsts. And that's what I'm aiming for. I want to get a first. And you will have to put the work in to do that. There's no two ways about it. It is going to take a lot of time, particularly for the mature students, because you and I will have to learn stuff from scratch, which, like the 17, 18, 19-year-olds, it's going to probably be fresher in their mind. Which, from that first week, that's my main takeaway, is you do have to put a surprising amount of effort in, and you've got to learn how to learn again, is really my 2 takeaways. So bring on next week. I'm going to do some more studying now on the data handling, which is what I've struggled with now, because I've got a grasp of the Earth systems and the globalisation one. I didn't get the data handling, it just went straight over my head. So I'm going to focus more on that for now to try and catch up, and wherever I've got spare time, because I'm going to enjoy the other 2, it's less of a chore, so I can just do that of an evening or something, just to kind of keep on top of it, keep the ball rolling. Mental momentum is, you know, it's a little phrase I've kind of coined for myself. It's like, if during lockdown I was going running pretty much every day or every other day, and I didn't do it for a week, and it was the hardest thing to get going for it again. So I'm kind of thinking like that now with studying. Get into a rhythm, get into a pattern, and keep it going. Because once you stop, it's going to be so hard to get going again. Because it's hard to get going now. I didn't really do any extra studying last week. That's why this week now I'm really going to go out of my way to try and do as much as I can. Because I was saying to my friends and everyone, when I said I'm going to do uni, I'm doing the 2-year one, I'm going to do 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. That's it, that's what I'm doing, because it's less hours than what I was working, and it's guaranteed weekends off, because I've never had that either. So I was kind of thinking there's no downside to it, except from the fact that you don't realise how hard it is, or how mentally draining it is to be learning constantly from 9 to 5, because all of it's new for me, and I never really studied much when I was properly in education before, like GCSEs and A-levels. I never put any extra work in, so it's going to be draining. So see how much bigger the bags under my eyes are next week, basically. Speaking of next week, I was going to try and do a football live stream, which I haven't done, obviously. But I'm going to try to. I think it'd be cool. I don't know how it works, how YouTube does the live streaming thing. Don't know. Just toying with ideas basically at the minute. But this is going to be the bread and butter. Every week I want to do how the week went, what I learned, what I thought, and just share that information, get those thoughts out there. Because like I said, there's not a great deal of information out there or help out there for mature students. And if you do find that you're struggling with, I don't know, you just want a hand with how you're getting on with uni, pop it in the comments. I'm always going to be looking at the comments. I know that's stupid, there's 4 subscribers, I'm one of them, and I know the other 3. But, you know, if you do get out there, don't be shy. And hopefully that video, or this video, has given you a bit more of an insight of how that first week went. But until the next time, see you later.